going on today? I'm going to be talking about how to build a content strategy for your e-commerce brand, more specifically, one that'll help you scale past the current revenue ceiling that you're stuck at. Not going to waste too much time. Let's just get into it. So first things first, defining what actually is a content strategy, which is very simply a plan on how to speak to a specific group of people, which is your ideal customer profile, your ideal customer audience, through social media platforms in order to provide value to them with an end goal in mind, right? With that, you're probably gonna have some questions. How do I find my audience? How do I speak to them effectively? What platform should I speak to them on? And how do I provide value to them? So I'm gonna be breaking that down in a visual format to make it easier to digest. So what I did was I created a little formula for it, content formula. So first off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at audience, right? And we're gonna multiply audience by purpose, by value, and by brand. So what does that mean? Looking at our audience, what is our purpose with this audience? What kind of value are we providing to the audience? And a brand, which is more like voice, how are we authentically speaking to that audience? And then add all that together and multiply it by volume, and that's how we're gonna get sales. So first things first, the actual audience. You have to understand your audience more than they understand themselves in order to make your content resonate with them to their core on a platform where they reside, so they can organically discover you before ads, before anything. You want them to find you organically, ideally, unless you're a dropshipper, okay, fair enough. But if you're trying to build a real brand, organic is the way to go. And I mean, I don't think you should be running ads for any e-commerce brand that you're not seeing returns with organically. If you think of like Apple or Amazon, all these billion-dollar, trillion-dollar, I think Apple's trillion-dollar at this point, corporations know you better than you know you. Meta knows you better than you know you. And that's why they can make so much money. That's why Zuckerberg is filthy rich, because he knows you better than you know you. His algorithm, yes, but it doesn't matter. That algorithm is an extension of him and his company. So by that extension, his company knows you better than you know yourself. That's the way you got to think about your audience when it comes to that. So who is my ideal audience? What kind of problems do they face? How does my content align with their desires? What you want to do is you want to create an artistically detailed persona and strategically plan your distribution according to that persona and what platforms they use on a day-to-day basis. So things like crafting their social media feed, what kind of pop culture are they into, movies do they watch, artists they listen to, etc., and political alignments. All these things trickle into the persona. Like literally get out a pen and paper and write a name, write a synopsis on their upbringing. How old are they now? What are they doing? What are their dreams, aspirations? What is their life like? Literally write a legit person and then make social media feeds for them. Like this is a brand I'm helping develop right now. We literally made a Pinterest feed for that person and what that person's life looks like through Pinterest. We have an Instagram for them. We have a TikTok for them. We have a literal person, like a real person we've created. And we're using that to reverse engineer the brand that we're trying to build. Same thing with movies. I just grabbed a random movie I saw to talk about War Dogs the other day, and then views. Drake just dropped an album, so I popped it up there. And then political alignments. Trump won the election, so Republicans just threw that up there, right? But that doesn't matter. Point is, put all that together for your ideal persona that you're creating your brand around. The whole takeaway from audience being the reason your content isn't performing is because it's not interesting. People buy from emotions, which is identity, desires, and beliefs, and like the vibe around the brand and the product you're selling. So either the content you're creating doesn't resonate with the audience you're going for, so it's not hitting, or the audience you're going for, you're making content for the wrong audience. It's either one of those, but either way, you're making the wrong thing for the wrong person. It's not hitting. It's boring, so you're not getting any sales. Next thing you want to do is focus on the purpose. So have a goal for yourself on why you're making that content and have a clear roadmap so it aligns with the different stages of the customer journey. So if your goal is community, make content that tells an immersive story that your audience can envision themselves living. If your goal is sales, make content that shows your product in action in an environment that they can picture themselves in. If your goal is engagement, make content that is highly relatable and illustrates your audience's daily life or the life they want to live. Theme pages do that really well. High Society and a couple others. But when you have a community, you own that, and that loyal community will buy just about anything that you ever create. If you're here for the long game to build brand authority, and you're not here to be fourth in inches, you want to really go the distance, you need to prioritize building a loyal community, like cult-like community and audience. All the brands that you look up to have loyal, diehard cult followings. That's why I sell it every time they drop. Caprice in the clothing brand space, the first one that comes to my mind. Iman, if you're looking broad e-commerce. There's a couple others, I'm sure, but those are just the first ones that I can think of. But like the products that they're creating aren't all that revolutionary, but because of the people that they are, people like them and people will buy from them just by that factor. Something I put a little bit to the side, but based off of your purpose and what your objective is when it comes to that, know your KPIs per your objective and track them accordingly so you can iterate and be consistent so you can see growth with whatever objective you're choosing. The whole takeaway being, if you're an e-commerce brand owner, you want to make content that tells an immersive story that your audience can envision themselves living with your product in action, but not as the focus of the story. Make it a background piece. I know I use him a lot, but Iman, an amazing example of this. He makes vlogs, 30-minute videos probably every 2 weeks or so, where he sits down and kind of documents his life through through the lens of his content, through the lens of his vlogs, to where anyone who's watching that, he's telling a story, which the story is his literal life, in a way that the audience can envision themselves living that life in a few years down the line. And he shows his products as like background pieces. He's not spending 30 minutes talking about why you should buy his glasses. He's spending 30 minutes documenting his life. And look at all the thumbnails. He's wearing his glasses. If you watch the video, I'm sure at some point he's going to show his energy drinks. Either he's going for a run or he's rehydrating, whatever the case may be. He's going to show it at some point. That is his way of using his products as background pieces within his content in order to emulate to the viewer what they would want their life to look like in a few years down the line. But like the main takeaway being, your goal should be to make your audience literally obsessed, so you have sovereignty over their self-identity for the rest of their life, or until they evolve as a person, or until a competitor comes and does it better than you do in your audience. Example of evolution, when I was like 15, I used to watch Hamza. I stopped watching because his content didn't align with me as a person or the kind of person I wanted to become going forward. So I stopped watching him. That's a good example. People just grow as people, and the content you produce may not align with them anymore. And that's okay. Someone else will do it, kind of replace that role for them as they evolve on their journey. But just know where you are at. There's a higher chance that someone comes and just does it better, which either they're making content that speaks to that audience better than yours does, or they're making your audience feel more emotions in their content that your content does. So either way that goes, usually it'll be both. I don't really see a situation where someone could come in as a competitor and do one of these things better than you do and then overtake you. They're probably doing both better. So kind of watch out for that. But next thing, value, pretty important. Providing a unique angle of value to your audience in order to earn their attention, because attention is earned, right? Asking yourself, how is my content different and or better from my competitors' content, and teaching them something or providing them a unique angle on life, or giving them all the sauce or putting them onto something that to a way where they feel obligated to buy from you because of law of reciprocity. You watching this right now, I'm giving you all the game on how to build a 8-figure, 9-figure content strategy. At some point, you're going to book a consulting call with me, or you're going to pay me to run your ads and build out your content strategy. Reciprocity. At some point, you're going to do that. It might be tomorrow. It might be next month. It might be 2 years from now. It doesn't matter. I know it's going to happen because of the law of reciprocity. Next point is brand, which, like I said, is more of like brand voice, but creating an authentic and unique voice for your content to help you speak to your audience and stand out from competitors, because simply by you speaking to that audience better than your competitors do, and asking yourself for every new idea, if it accurately reflects your brand's voice, which this is more of an extension of the audience. Like if you know who your audience is to a T, and you do what I say and create an artistically detailed persona, and you know everything about them to a T, like being able to speak to them won't be an issue at all, because it's like a cakewalk, because you know everything about them. You know exactly how to speak to them because you know them. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple to understand. And then develop a brand style guide and be, once again, extremely meticulous when it comes to creating and curating everything and paying attention to all the small details and little things, because those little details is how you stand out and speak to your customer better than your audience or than your competitors do. And then just making sure everything resonates with that audience, which, like I said, if you know the audience, that won't be too hard. Next piece of the puzzle, which I think is the most important, is volume. You have to put out more content than your competitors do, because the market rewards speed and volume over anything else. Think of every piece of content you put out as a lottery ticket. Who's going to win the lottery? Guy with 12 tickets, 52, 365, or 1,095? Obviously the guy with 1,000, because he has the most tickets, right? But how much more? That guy with 12 tickets, you're posting once a month. has 0.7% chance. 52 has 3% chance. 365 has 24% chance. And 1095 has 72% chance. Like, look at that jump. You go from 0.7 to 3, 8x to 24%, and that one 3x to 72% just because you're doing more volume. Like, literally, yeah. And even to this extent, someone doing more volume is probably going to be lower quality, but by the law of probability, them doing 3x more than this guy, they're going to get some combination of brand and value and purpose. Some combination of it is going to be right for them to win, like literally just because of probabilities. So if you're not getting sales, it's because your volume is too low. And you can do all these things and understand your audience and speak to them and give them value and do everything all while still putting out high volume, right? Or at least keeping up with your competitors. But I would say shoot for 3. Actually, 3 should be your baseline. 1 should be like your minimum, but your baseline really should be 3 a day. You're shooting for 5 to 10. If you're not doing at least 1 a day, don't cry about sales because you have your answer. That's why. Like literally looking just at the numbers, at the percentages, the probabilities, you're losing because you're not putting out enough content. If you ask any dropshipper, oh, I did this creative and this product, they're going to tell you you're not putting out enough volume of creatives or enough products being tested. They're going to tell you every time it's volume. Why? Because they understand the game of volume. The way you win in that game to get sales is strictly off of volume and nothing else. I've seen stores do 200K, 300K per month, and they have no clue how to properly speak to these people and no real value besides a decent offer, but they're just doing volume and they win and they do 300K per month just off of that. So pretty important. Focus on volume. Obviously, get all these things in check. That's how you build a strong foundation. But like all that, you have to, like I showed in the formula, everything has to be multiplied by volume at the end, no matter what combination of anything you take. Multiply by volume, and that's how you get sales. That's kind of the micro. Looking at the macro, right? Looking at the big picture, 80% of your work is all of this, and that'll generate 20% of your results by the Pareto principle, right? And then just going back to the volume thing, 20% of your work is going to be putting out high volume, and that'll generate most of your results just because you're putting out high volume of content. Proof that it actually works, right? This is a brand owner who I saw some of his content last year on my feed. I really liked it. So I, gave him a follow, and I've been following him since then. But I told him, dude, like going into into 2025, he should put out more content. And he asked me like, what kind of content should he do? And I showed him an example of what he should do. And since I think the week after that, he started posting every single day. And this is kind of the result of that. Now he has gained 40,000 new accounts reached through his content. But just by posting every day for like a month, 100,000 views. Just that simple. I'll actually show his brand. So here it is, brand called Solvier. If we go to his reels, we'll see he started posting, where was it? Right here. I think this was his first post. So January 19th. And since then he's posted every single day. He's getting 1,000 and then boom, he gets 37,000. On average, like 100 likes per post. Here and there he's getting 5,000 views, 3,000, 3,000, 3,600, 3,600. Like all that is strictly off of putting out high volume, and like he's just gonna keep doing that. And at some point, next thing he's gonna hit 50K views, then 100K views, and then 500,000, and then 1 million. And next thing you know, he's doing 6 figures, selling out every single drop just because he's putting out high volume of content. He has good high quality content as well. So even the ones that aren't, bringing him 36,000 views, they're still doing well just because it's high volume. He knows how to make content, and it's very engaging, going back to the chart of making content that is engaging and illustrates an audience's daily life the way they want to live, which his content does that. It's very like lifestyle, Benny Barletta style, right? But my biggest takeaway being, if you post consistently every day, you will not lose, like I said, and I've been talking about it for half of the video at this point. Just be consistent, and that's how you win the game every time. But if you're an e-commerce brand owner, you're doing more than 10K per month, we will help you go to 100K per month. If you're already doing 100K per month, we'll help you scale that to 500K plus per month. I'll leave my email and my Instagram in the description. You can shoot me an email, shoot me a text, and we can get started to help you guys get that set up. If you're neither of those and you're just here to learn the game of marketing a little bit better, check out the free training I just dropped. Link will also be in the description. That's all I got though. Thank you for your time.